Peace, peace, what's good, y'all? IAM here, and today we're gonna talk about rejection, right? I had one of my subscribers, shout out Kizzy, literally a day one. Thank you, Kizzy, for bringing this question up. She said, can we talk about rejection? And I am like, thank you, because this video is gonna make itself. Like, I literally have my 10,000 hours. You know how people talk about having 10,000 hours? I definitely have 10,000 hours in rejection. And it's funny because rejection is like literally the reason why I even started this channel in the first place. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. It's one of the main catalysts. And I say that because not only rejection is it about redirection, right? That's primarily the result and what it ultimately does for us. However, I learned that rejection also brought me to this place of radical acceptance. And that's been one of the primary themes for me. I would say this year, even last year as well, when I was here, you know, in my hometown in Buffalo. And there's so many different types of rejection. Like, there's so many different types of ways that I've been rejected in different circumstances. Not only just romantic, but professionally, creatively. I'm thinking about literally even the housing. Like right now, y'all know I'm in the process of moving to Chicago, and even just working like with my credit. So currently I'm rebuilding my credit, and they're like, yeah, you have to have a certain score just to be in this neighborhood or whatever. So that's something I'm like, all right, how can I work around that? How can I actually better myself and really get to this place ultimately of refinement, to where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna make more money and I can pay more money up front, right? I get to be creative. I get to come up with the solution. However, it all starts from rejection. So, dang, I feel rejected by my arm. My arm getting tired already. But now we're gonna take this long walk today. I was even listening to some good music to get the vibes right. Had like that Ordinary People radio by John Legend, you feel me? And then we get into all these love songs. Like, when we think about, I feel like our society, even the idea that we have on love and like what it really looks like, it can be so skewed. And so that's why I think I really do get the conversation nowadays more so about rejection, because a lot of people I feel like aren't only just searching for love by being with other people, right? By outsourcing the love that they need for themselves to other people. I think it's also really a sense of validation. And this is the conversations I've had more with, I guess, the people that I'm close to. And I've just realized about my own journey, right? My own personal growth. What happened for me was that when I was looking for validation, I was looking for acceptance from other people. And I didn't necessarily get that, right? Because I was, in a sense, rejected. What it did for me was that it allowed me to get so much closer to this place of acceptance for myself. Meaning, right, what do I mean by that? This year, for me, I'm 27 years old. I do two themes. Well, actually, this year I chose to do two themes. I usually do at least one theme for, you know, my born day. And for this year, authenticity was the primary theme, along with audacity. And so I realized, right, for me to even be out here, I'm just walking in the neighborhood, just recording myself. For me to be my most authentic self, I had to stop giving a care about what everybody thinks. You know, like that book that they made, like, shout out Mark Ronson, The Art of Not Giving a Care in the World. That's how we have to move sometimes. Or at least that's what it's come to for me, right? I realize what they truly mean. It's not that I don't care about anything in the world, because I care about a lot of things. I care about a lot of people, and I have strong feelings of gratitude and appreciation for the people in my life, you know? But what it really is getting to is that we have to detach to a large degree. And even as I learn more about attachment styles, and for me growing up, definitely anxiously attached, right? Because a lot of times, even when we talk about rejection and how I think I'm noticing the pattern too, especially as a former very like anxious attached person. Now I feel like I'm definitely the most closest to securely attached that I've ever been in my life. So I'm grateful for that. However, I would say growing up, I noticed that desire for acceptance and even that feeling rejected, I think that typically comes from the more anxiously attached side, right? So the people who are like, I need you in my life, right? When we think about, you know, I'm a musician, I'm an artist. When we think about all the love songs again, especially back in the day, how they be sounding, it's just like, yo, that's crazy. And when they're like, that's not really healthy at all. But we've been programmed to listen to this subconsciously, right? We've been thinking like this for years because we romanticize it, right? We create this illusion, this fantasy, all the things to have our own fantasy world with a fantasy girl or boy or whatever your steez, you know, whatever you please. That's what it is. So a lot of times, like, I even remember when I was a young artist and I was in Rhode Island. Shout out my guy that I met from back then. He had this poetry that he would share. He had this poem. It was like, do you like me or do you like the idea of me? And that was such a big thing for me at that time, because I'm like, yo, I had just come out of a relationship. Like I remember I was 18 years old in college, and then it just got more to, I'm such a genuine person, I feel like in my book, meaning like, I just like authentic expression and authentic emotions. Like the worst thing you could do to me is like try and lie to me, or, you know, try and make me believe something that's not true, because it's not gonna work. But ultimately, it's like in doing that, you're lying to yourself. You're not really lying to me, because I mean, I'm gonna see through it. God gonna reveal everything to me in time. And I'm just, you know, big on energy. However, what I mean though is that a lot of times, I think we really want to get to this place. And follow me here. I'm jaywalking. It's Buffalo. It's what we do. No, I'm just in the neighborhood, but follow me, because a lot of times people feel like maybe or maybe they don't even feel like, I'll say, I don't want to speak for other people, but I'll say this: we feel like people are rejecting us when really they're primarily rejecting themselves. And I do believe that's the way that we're meant to view it. That's the way we're meant to look at it. Because when you get to this place of radical self-acceptance, you're like, you know what? I'm not trying to change the person that I am to appease other people. Ooh, my bad, y'all. We got clicked off for a second. That's crazy. But what I'm saying is, yeah, like we don't need to put ourselves in a position where we're just doing things, we're changing aspects of ourselves and our personality because we want to acquiesce, right? We want to appease others. That's not authentic. That's not even genuine, right? So a lot of times what I saw for myself first, and then I started to notice more in other people, is like, you know what? Even when you get into that conversation about like, the no more nice guy, or why like nice guys finish last, it's just because at its core, somebody being nice is not necessarily authentic whatsoever, like at all. It's a difference if you're being kind. Like I consider myself a very kind person, and kind people tell you the truth. But when oftentimes we want to be nice, it's typically an element on the dark side that has more to do with manipulation. So it's more of a manipulative psychology and manipulative behavior when we're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be nice so that this person will accept me and this person will give me the validation that I need inside. Because I didn't give it to myself first. So let me see what I can get from this other person, right? And it's even like, you know, the art of seduction will employ so many different tactics just to, you know, when people talk about be a people pleaser. And it's just like, nah, man. Instead of trying to do that, right? Speaking for myself, from someone who firsthand is like, as much as like I show it with you guys now, you know, since the start of the year, doing this every week, like I've been a certain type of person for more than the past 5 years, majority of my life, to be honest, like pretty much my whole life. But even the past 5 years, just showing up in my community in real life, like giving people advice, checking in on them, seeing how they're doing, that can be taxing at a point. And it wasn't until last year when I really started to prioritize myself and my own needs that I was like, oh, you know what? I do not need to be a nice person. Like, God did not send me here to be nice to people. Like, you know, I was sent here to be truthful, to be honest, and to be a messenger, essentially. You feel me? So I'm like, let me do what I'm supposed to do. And oftentimes, like, we want to sugarcoat it, but it's just like, nah, man, the closer that we are into being our authentic self and we can accept that, then it's like we give people the opportunity to really trust us and to really know us. And then they actually like us, because if somebody likes the version of you that you're pretending to be, like, do they really like you? No, they don't. And I've gotten into those situations, quite frankly. That's actually what happened. Like there was a point in time, I was actually talking to somebody like a year or two ago, and we were spending a lot of time with each other. And then we just started getting into these petty arguments, like within our conversation. And then I was just like, oh, like, do you actually like me? Like, it sounds like I'm not even the person that you like based off of what you're describing and, you know, my values versus their values. And don't get me wrong, I have always been a person with high standards. So just as much as I could say, like, I felt rejection, you know, people definitely have felt rejection in some way by me. However, all I'm saying is that if they were completely accepting of themselves and they weren't, how do I say this? Like, oftentimes even pushing me away, pushing away the feedback or the constructive criticism that I'm giving, right? Because the whole goal, I feel like friends, family, relationships, romantic, whatever it be, the whole goal is that, like, we're all here to get better. That's why you're on YouTube today, you know, that's why you clicked on this video. Ideally, maybe you just wanted some stimulation, you know, you want to be stemmed. I'm your favorite creator, that's cool. But my goal here is to be able to inform and help educate. And I feel like that's what the YouTube community is really about nowadays too. So everybody's always searching for something. I feel like something more. And I feel like we all have something to learn and something to grow from, as well as something to share with other people for that same purpose. So it's like, that being said, yeah, the more that we can choose ourselves and we can accept who we are in the moment, it's like we can actually then get to the refinement process. We can then get to growing into an even greater and better version of ourselves. And that's probably the best thing that we can do for ourselves, quite frankly. Because, yeah, then they're like, it's no worries, you know? And I think that goes back to what I was saying about instead of feeling that, oh, this person has rejected me, right? Like, I I don't think they really like me or whatever. You can feel more so, well, I know how great of a person I am. I know the value that I have to give and share with other people. I know how I contribute to other people's lives, and I make everyone around me better, right? I'm just, being authentic. If that's the type of person you are, even if you're not right now, you can strive to be, like, just be the best version of yourself. And I think that's usually what attracts people in the first place. That's why, like, we're magnetic. Like, I think I think Kizzo said my skin was glowing in one of the videos I've seen. That I'm like, I appreciate you, but see, it just started with me taking care of myself. I just found out how to get some jojoba oil and some shea butter, and yeah, we made it happen. So the more it's like I'm caring for myself, that reflects and allows other people to notice and see that within me. And I've definitely seen that in the past year, like, so much. Like, gosh, man, I just pulled back from my entire community. I just stopped rocking out with people. I stopped showing up for everyone else, and I started showing up for myself first and primarily. And then, like, I've grown so much. My energy is different. I'm way happier, way more consistent, way more calm. My nervous system is way more stable. I'm peaceful. We peace maxing just like last week, getting these walks in, and I'm getting ready to make the most money I've ever made in my life. That type of thing. So I think that's what it is. Like, even in the sense, again, when I was primarily, the root of all rejection is like I was rejecting myself, because I was saying that, oh, I don't feel like I'm ready to be as successful as I can, or, make all the money that I can, or get all the benefits and the rewards that I can, because inside, right, subconsciously, I truly didn't feel worthy of it. Like, I didn't feel valid enough to have these nice things. And it's a really deep, it's a really deep, it's a really deep thing to recognize and realize that that is the type of thoughts that we're having at times, and especially for me. But I'm a person who, I'm okay with, again, introspection, and I've been honest with myself for a long time. So radical acceptance, radical self-acceptance was just natural to me. However, I know where that's harder for some other people. But the truth is, like, if you cannot accept yourself, then it will seem like everybody's rejecting you. And that's a personal thing, So a lot of times we just need to take that look inward, look in the mirror, and accept ourselves first. And then it's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I can actually be deserving of the love that I'm looking for. I can be a vibrational match because my heart is open to it, because I'm not thinking like, oh man, I'm not ready enough. I'm not fit enough. I'm not eating healthy enough. I didn't go to the gym or whatever, like, people go through. It's like, no, like, you're in a great place where you are. And as long as you're being intentional about your life and your goals, then you can find a match for that, in whatever capacity, friends, mentorship. Like, I'm just seeing all the things, like, the more that I keep switching this because of my arms. I'm gonna have a selfie stick soon. The more that I've, like, just, done this type of work, I've seen how it's like, wow, man, I was, like, truly just getting in my own way, like, just not allowing great things to enter my life. And it's often how we're indoctrinated, how we're taught, from a young age. We talk about childhood. And again, all that, like, attachment. Yeah, we're gonna have to do more videos on this because this is a deep conversation, clearly. But no, and already, I think that's what we'll do. Maybe even for next time, we'll talk more about self-acceptance, right? Because this is something that I definitely want to go deeper into, because it's essentially like the backbone of my channel. sharing my journey. But it was because I decided to, like, you know what, I need to document my journey and my growth because I'm growing so much and fairly quickly, right? So I know this is a pivotal part of my life and it's extremely valuable to people because I can see it in real life. People come up to me, they're like, wow, like they're just impressed by what I do, how I think. So I'm like, because I have this value, like let me not be insecure about who I am and the gift that I have to share. Like, let me actually accept the fact that I'm deserving, you know, I'm worthy of being, of being listened to, of being great, just plain and simple. And I know it can be easy, like when we're in certain environments, and I was there too, like around certain people, and they're not really receiving that greatness from you all well, and maybe because they really don't receive the greatness from themselves. So because they're rejecting themselves, then it seems like and it feels like they're rejecting you. Whole time, all that does is just really redirect you to say, like, you know what? I appreciated these people in these places in the time that it was meant for, and even family. You know, we don't know. I don't, like Mel Robbins says, let them be who they are, and like, I don't know if they're gonna change, but it's not my responsibility. You know, it's not my job to be concerned about that. All I can do is be concerned about me. And there was a point in time I even talked to a black male therapist when I was in my hometown, when I was working the job I had as an engineer. And he said that, he's like, you know, Ephraim, you can be concerned about everyone else, but at the end of the day, you know, there can be people who you knew 20 years ago, you see them 20 years later, they're still doing the same thing. So the question at the end of the day is always, what are you going to do, right? And I just relate that back to, how am I gonna decide to choose myself finally? How am I going to be open and accepting to me, just like I show up and I'm open to all these other people? There was no reason why I couldn't give this to myself. So as I've done that, yeah, my results are much better. And it can be easy to ruminate. That's one thing I did want to say to you guys too, as we're about to like close out this video. It can be so easy to ruminate about the past and like what went wrong, like especially for me. I'm showing up as an ADHDer, like, yo, I have so many thoughts, man. I've had so many thoughts, but I'm just grateful that in order to be able to let go and move on from all of the past negative experiences, or even things that I perceive as negative, it's again more so about introspecting and looking at how was I even perceiving the situation, and how can I now reframe it, that every single person that I felt like I wanted something from, or I felt like in the past I was entitled to something, like they owed me something, realized even when it didn't work, like it was literally a part of God's plan. Like it was literally like, oh, I'm grateful that it didn't work, because it saved me a lot of confusion. It saved me a lot of grief. Man, don't even get me started about the grief. You already know, like, cause yeah, it's sad to like lose people in the moment, but just imagine if that relationship actually went further than it was meant to be, and and it just got infinitely worse. So I'm just like grateful that, like, man, like, thank you God that this is all it was. And you know, I don't got no kids right now. Like I'm just saying, like, I'm blessed. So a lot of times, man, like the rejection, not only is it redirection, but it's a blessing in disguise. Cause yeah, we'll think about like why this hurt, but it's like, nah, even relationships professionally, like you want to work with certain people, you want to do certain things, and then you go and look maybe a couple weeks down the line and like something crazy just showed up with them, and you're like, oh man, I don't want to be caught up in that, or I didn't want to be associated with that. And a lot of times people know, even as much as like because we'll get so caught up in the moment and be like, like, why are they da-da-da? And it's like, no, people know, and they actually might. What I had to really do, or what I chose to do and really start reframing, is that even in relationships, like when people like, it doesn't work out, they don't choose you, it's because they know, for one, they probably don't have the capacity to hold who you are. So that's the main thing. They're like, you know what, I can't do this. And it's like, if they're being honest and upfront, maybe it doesn't seem upfront, but like, at least they're being honest about, they know for themselves they're not capable at that moment, then by all means, like, you should believe them. Like, we should believe that person and allow them to be who they are. And then they also might know that the choices that they have in mind, that maybe they haven't voiced or vocalized it, but they're like, yeah, they're going down this road and I plan on going this way. So they're like, this not going, you know, it's not going to conjoin anytime soon. So yeah, there's possibility that things can change in the future, but I find that it's best to detach, to let go, and not even hold on to it, man. The only thing worth holding on to is yourself. Truly. You know, so I'm like, it's just me and God. That's what we doing. Introspecting and learning something new every day, learning new levels of myself. And now I'm just grateful to finally feel at peace where, like, you know what, yeah, let me go and be great. Because as much as I want to share, I want to give like all my success, I want to give it to the people I love and care about. It's like, I got to give it to myself first, because I'm the one who deserves the applause. And then right after that, you know, it's my family, the people I really, really care about and who have truly been there for me since day one. So thank y'all, truly. I appreciate you. This has been Ephraim. Once again, thank you, Kizzy, also a day one, for asking this question. I appreciate you. Kizzy literally, like, yeah, no, I seen, she was my first subscriber. So thank you for adding value and engaging with the channel. Everybody, you made it this far. Super grateful. Please like, subscribe, all the things, hype me up. You feel me? If YouTube lets me do that yet. And I got music, economical.universe.se, Economical Universe, if you want to check me out. Ito Langston, Ephraim, and until next time, I will see y'all. Peace.